Omar Al Mukhtar was born in 1862 in the region of Jabal Al Akhdar in eastern Libya. He grew up as an orphan and was adopted by an imam from the Sanusi movement, which was the most influential Islamic group in North Africa. After completing his Islamic education, Omar Al Mukhtar became an imam and a preacher, and he traveled across various regions of North Africa in order to preach in isolated villages and towns in the desert. This allowed Omar Al Mukhtar to gain a strong knowledge of the desert roads, trade routes, and the tribes of the region. Besides being a religious leader, Omar Al Mukhtar also became an influential social leader. In addition to being an imam and a preacher, he also worked as a guide for trade caravans traveling through the desert between Libya, Egypt, and Sudan, and he protected the caravans from bandits and animals. On one occasion, Omar Al Mukhtar shot and killed a lion while protecting a trade caravan. In addition to this, Omar Al Mukhtar also worked as a doctor and used his knowledge of herbal and plant medicine to provide free treatment to sick people across the region. Because of his selfless services to the people and his immense generosity and bravery, Omar Al Mukhtar became highly respected among the tribes of the region, who also relied on him for security. After invading and occupying Libya, the Italians committed brutal massacres against the Libyan people and desecrated mosques and attempted to forcefully convert people to Christianity. In the face of this brutal invasion, Omar Al Mukhtar and his army were the most fierce opponents of the Italians. He led a 20-year guerrilla war against the Italians and managed to kill hundreds of Italian soldiers. Because of his knowledge of the deserts and mountains of Libya, Omar Al Mukhtar launched many surprise attacks and ambushes that shocked the Italian invaders. Omar Al Mukhtar had the full support of the Libyan people, and his guerrilla tactics frustrated the Italians and prevented them from gaining control of many regions of Libya. The Italian general known as General Rodolfo Graziani stated, "Omar Al Mukhtar continues to resist fiercely, and he pursues our forces everywhere. His way of fighting is not like other commanders. He is a master in spoiling plans and moving quickly, so it is impossible to determine his location in order to strike him and his soldiers." Omar Al Mukhtar and his army continued to kill hundreds of Italian soldiers across Libya, and the Italians could not defeat him. Therefore, they attempted to bribe him, and they offered him money and a large amount of tax-free fertile land. However, Omar Al Mukhtar rejected the offer and continued fighting. In 1922, when Benito Mussolini became the leader of Italy, he began using even more brutal tactics in order to try and crush Omar Al Mukhtar's resistance. He ordered 100,000 Libyans from Omar Al Mukhtar's native Jabal Al Akhdar region to be placed in concentration camps. Despite these inhumane tactics, Omar Al Mukhtar and his army continued to move across the Libyan desert and attack Italian army checkpoints. He stated, "Injustice makes the oppressed heroes, and it makes the heart of the oppressor tremble, no matter how much he tries to hide it or act proud." Because of the continued loss of Italian men and resources, Mussolini tried to negotiate a peace treaty with Omar Al Mukhtar in 1929. However, when the Italians sent a delegation to Omar Al Mukhtar in order to arrange a meeting to discuss a truce, he stated, "Tell them that our meeting does not require an appointment. We meet your soldiers and vehicles every day on the battlefield, and we leave the talking to the weapons. We do not deal with papers. Our pens are rifles." After they arrested him, the Italians asked him to tell the rest of his army to surrender. He replied, "I cannot do anything. We, the revolutionaries, had previously sworn that we would all die one after the other and not surrender or lay down our weapons." Therefore, the Italians sentenced him to death by hanging. When the Italian judge sentenced him to death, he stated, "The real judgment is the judgment of Allah and not your false judgment." Shortly before his execution, he stated, "We do not surrender, we win or we die, and this is not the end. You will have to fight the next generation and the generations that follow it." Omar Al Mukhtar was executed on 16th September 1931